Yo, what's going on, my prophets? Your boy Cali here. It's been a little while. Gonna do a quick video. Well, actually a series. This is gonna kick off a series, hopefully, of basic trading, right? How to read charts and stuff like that. If you haven't checked out our website already, go ahead and do so. It's gonna be getting revamped pretty soon. Working with some people to go ahead and make that happen. A couple things since I last made a video. We hit our 10K on our Instagram, so big ups and thank you everyone for the support. Um, if you guys have any questions about the mastermind group, I went ahead and asked people that are in the group already to give us a review. So they're putting up some comments, man. I really appreciate these comments, guys. It means a lot because we do work hard to bring you the best content possible. So, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this quick video. Um, I'm gonna do it on moving averages. People underestimate how easy it is to read a graph with just simple things. Moving averages are one of my favorite indicators there is. So this is, how to use them, when to use them. It's gonna be a real basic breakdown. Obviously, there's more to this, but just so you guys can start getting familiarized and what I think is some of the proper ways to use some of these tools. Uh, So when to use, you need to identify your trading style. That's one of the first things, as this is going to have an impact on your whole setup, and we'll get into that right now. But you have to know what your trading style is. So what's your time frame? What kind of returns are you looking for? And of course, always the biggest is your risk factor. How long you're willing to let stuff ride, or what percentage below the threshold are you willing to put that stop loss? So the three most common setups that I've seen that I use is the single crossover, double crossover, and the multi crossover. And all this means is just how many moving averages you're using. It's going to be 1, 2, or 3 plus. There's like rainbow crossovers and stuff like that. So just real basic 1, 2, or 3 or more. So the single crossover, um, even though it's super easy, right? Like there's really nothing to it. It's gonna be just one moving average. Um, it's effective, I think, in the shorter terms. Just it helps me identify the trend of the market. My setup is usually for a midterm trade, so I'm placing the 15 to 25 moving average. But then again, depending on what time frame I'm moving, and I have an example of this right here. So this will be my first. So I'm looking at a 30-day, and this is a really short-term trade. I'm trying to day trade right here. So I actually have my moving average at 9, um, and all we're looking for is when it crosses over to the upside, and then to the downside would be my exit position. Um, and what I mean by crossing over, it's not just peeking over, but when it actually crosses over and closes above the line, not just peeks through and then comes back. So for instance, right here, I guess this would be my entry point right here, believe it or not, because even though it came down here, it closed above the moving above the line. It closed down right here, so right here it closed above it, and then the second one confirms that it's above, and I would pretty much just let it ride out. Right here it looks like it wanted to close over, but it stayed on the line. It didn't close below the line. This is what I mean, the risk factor. I mean, would you consider that a trade out, or would you want to see a couple points below it? Like I said, that's where risk management comes into play. And obviously these are touching the line, but they're kind of bouncing off. You have a big swing up, and obviously this is exactly what I mean by risk. At what point do you pull out? And this is a EOS compared to BTC, guys, on Binance. Using Coinigy. There's a link below if you want to run a free trial. I think the first 30 days are free, and then after that, it's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 to use. And then finally, this would be my sell period right here, where it actually crosses below and closes below. I have another video on actual how to read candlesticks if you don't know what I mean by closing. So that means this bottom line is actually where it closed. So I mean that's a pretty decent spread to run up, right? Um, you, yeah, it's a decent spread within a 30-minute. So you would have been in this trade for a couple hours. Uh, Nothing too crazy. Let me see from the 1022 to so about 12 hour. It's about a 12-hour trade actually right here. This is why I don't like day trading. Obviously, I could drop down the time frame and go from there. Let me see if I would have to adjust. How about a 5 minute? See, it's just with the 5 minute, this actual moving average doesn't work, and that's what I'm saying. Depending on what time frame you're in, is you're gonna have to adjust your moving average. Um, a 9 moving average, I think, works fine for a 30-minute. So that's one. The next one would be a double MA. And there's actually an indicator in Coinigy called the cross where you can adjust and stuff like that. I think it's pretty effective midterm. But this is pretty good for all trading styles. It's just about tweaking the moving averages. Um, if you want something quick, 5 to 10, and then mid's gonna be 5 to 26. Um, I just left it at the standard that the moving average. So if you come here and you go to MA, you'll see a moving average cross. So it sets it up automatically for you. I switched the colors around just because that's what I'm used to seeing. And basically, you just wait for these crosses, and that's your entry and exit point. So this is more of a midterm, right, for me. So if you see here on the crossover, I would get in on this point, and then it runs it to there. So that's a 9-day trade. But in that 9-day trade, um, you see from 93 to 124, a significant percentage-wise trade. So it's a good trade. Um, Unless you're shorting like on BitMEX or something like that, it's not anything. But it's just showing you that here's a crossover. Um, Depending on other indicators, it would be a go or no go. So it's just kind of consolidating, and then it goes on a nice downtrend. So right here is something you might be interested in right now, where it's consolidating um, nicely, and then the cross is here. So and then I'm gonna just look at some moving averages and supports. So I mean, even if it goes back to the last level that I was at, you go from 80 to 10, so a good 20% bounce up, and maybe 9-10 days. Guys, I don't look for huge returns. I just look for constant returns, and that's how I'm able to keep growing my portfolio, is by not being greedy and just looking for actual good trends and trades. I don't chase them. Like right now, it's in consolidating period. That's usually when I like to enter my positions. Um, if I have to sit here and wait, I would want to see the moving averages cross over to the upside. But it looks like it right now would be a good entry point. Like I said, you would have to look at other indicators. I'm trying to keep this simple, super simple. So that's the double moving average of the cross. The last one would be the multi crossover. And this is one of the most common setups you'll see. Usually you see 3 to 4 moving averages on someone's chart. And obviously this is good for all times, and it gives you several points of information from trend, volatility, and support or resistance. It's especially on the longer terms, like if you're trading within a couple days and you're going for those little bit more, it's super accurate as far as telling you those trends, the volatilities, and supports and resistance. Um, let's go ahead and look at this example that I have up here. This is actually Bitcoin versus the dollar. So what we're looking for is the positions of the chart of the moving averages. So we're looking for the crossovers to the positive, right? So for me, green is short, red is mid, and yellow is uh, long term. I have 9, 25, and 50 on here. No particular reason. It's pretty standard. So you see, after a little bit of consolidation, in September, it crosses over and it starts making a nice bull run. So we go for the bull run. And what I see is, this is what I mean by support and resistance. As it's coming down, right here, I don't like that. There we go, better. If you see right here, it tests a what seems to be a support, which is the long-term moving average, and bounces off. So that's always a plus sign when you see it going down the downtrend, and then see if it can keep it within the parameters of the the moving averages. If it were to dip below, then that would be a whole different thing if you start trading below. So it goes up here, and then same thing here. It's testing supports along this line, along the trend, right? So it seems to be a strong uptrend. Some people wait for the crossover. Some people wait for it to dip below the short term. So, like I said, that's when it comes into your whole risk factor. The other thing, why when I said you can see the volatility, is the further spreads from each one, from each moving average, is the volatility that you have in there. And that's kind of what you want to see. If you notice here, I don't have no volume, which is obviously I think the second most important, if not more important than moving averages. I just wanted to keep it super simple so you focus on just the chart. We have a cross here, right? So if you guys can see that, we have a cross to the negative side, to the bearish side, where all lines are the opposite. So now we have the long, mid, and short going to the opposite, and it's showing this downtrend by bouncing off to the opposite, right? We cross over and it starts using it, and now we're using this support as a midterm. So we're waiting to see right now, as far as Bitcoin, to see if it's a time to that it might become a bullish time. For me would be, well, let me go ahead and do change the. So I would want to see this, obviously, go there, and then maybe this line to go right around there. So if I were to see this, right, these lines start going this way, and then we'll just use, oh, sure. And then we see a bounce here, maybe off here, and it starts going, and we can keep above this moving average, the short-term moving average, that would indicate another bull run for me. All these false bull runs that we've been seeing that people think they're hype, yes, they seem like it's going up and it's moving off here, but what we don't see is the moving averages crossing over to actual a bull market. It's still considered a bear market because we are below the long-term moving average. And if you see right here, it actually bounces off, which means it's the bears are still in control. It's bouncing off the midterm, which means right now we're actually in a neutral market. If you, I mean, if you look at just the green line, right, the short term, it's actually pointing straight ahead, which means it has no direction. So it's waiting for the other moving averages to catch up and tell it which way it wants to go. That's the way I read this chart. Um, I think that's it. Let me check my notes real quick because I do lose track. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the notes, guys. Um, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop it down below. DM us on Profit Chasers on Instagram. Um, the group, guys, like I tell people, we're not a signal group, and we keep trying to improve our Discord group and making it more interactive for our people in there, and just being around a group of people that are like-minded and trying to reach the same goals. Um, Certain people researching just there's certain people that are real bullish on certain coins. They're just going to research the hell out of those coins, and it saves you a lot of time because they already did most of the heavy lifting. All you got to do in there is go in there and just confirm if their sources are correct, and saves you time. And that's the most valuable thing in the trend, is trying to get in somewhere. Go ahead and check us on Profit Chasers. We have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook, a YouTube. Just go ahead and give us some likes, show us support, guys, and I'll keep trying to produce the best content possible that we're able to do. So for now, man, thank you very much. This has been your boy Cali, and happy stacking.